How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff. This is our Monday through Friday UAP news channel where we talk about the latest news inside of the UAP community. What's funny is on Tuesday, I do my long form podcast on my other channel, which is simply just my name, the Kristian Harloff channel, but I have UAP Tuesdays, and Danny Sheehan was on. We talked for a good hour and a half. So there's a lot of stuff in there if you want to check that out. I'm not going to cover the news from that particular interview. You can just go watch the whole thing if you want. You can listen to that show and every clip that I do here on the Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff podcast feed on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, all that. So this is a very interesting one that I want to share with you guys. As you saw, obviously, from the thumbnail and description. And I actually supposed to have Avi Loeb on my show, and that was on me. I had things that come up, so I had to reschedule it. But I'm going to have him on soon. But this was something that it kind of blows my mind. It's the same thing. I don't want to keep repeating what we've been talking about the last couple of days, but I do want to get into the fascination of this, and here it is. So this is from the Daily Mail, which says Harvard professor claims that UFOs could have traveled to Earth via extra dimensions that CERN scientists are trying to unlock. The CERN scientists are seeking evidence of 6 extra dimensions. Professor Avi Loeb believes that aliens might travel through such dimensions. The U.S. government has yet to unravel the mysterious sightings of UFOs soaring through our skies, but a Harvard professor believes the answer may sit 300 feet below the surface. Avi Loeb, known for his efforts to prove that we are not alone, has claimed that extraterrestrial visitors are traveling through hidden dimensions created by researchers at the CERN Particle Accelerator. The accelerator, the Large Hadron Collider, blasts particles are nearly the speed of light to recreate conditions of the Big Bang with hopes of uncovering hidden dimensions that will reveal how our universe is formed. Speaking in a new documentary, Loeb said that alien civilizations may have been developing dimension-hopping technology for billions of years. The physicist also noted that ETs are using theoretical quantum gravity engineering to travel through curled dimensions that humans can only detect in particle accelerators such as CERN. The Harvard scientist said in a documentary, The Paranormal UFO Connection, that if alien technology is able to reach our doorstep, we would be awestruck because it could represent something we don't process. Just like a cave dweller coming to a city like London or Europe and seeing all the technological gadgets in there, said Loeb. There will be a sense of religious awe and we wouldn't understand it, especially if we are dealing with the effects of quantum gravity that we have any clue about. Loeb said that traveling through extra spatial dimensions would mean the chance of collisions, they would be much smaller. Scientists at CERN have attempted to detect 6 extra spatial dimensions and look for particular particles as evidence that such dimensions exist. All right, so here is a clip. Pavel sent this to me earlier, and this is about CERN. So let me play this first.
Actually, CERN is dealing with radionuclear research. But it is more than that because there are lots of physicians. I know some. They're doing very strange experimentation. There are beings from portals coming in and out. It's physicists from the CERN who told me this.
They've testified to beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes. They have apparently in the bottom of the CERN this portal, this door where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions. They say there are 17 different dimensions of reality. That's what those physicists say. Some others say there are more dimensions, And now, when you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies. Intel, they say that there is a fight on time. They're trying to change time.
They're trying to change time. Whatever the hell that scary shit means. I mean, what in the world is happening? And this is where I do go back to, and I'm saying, like, it is, as Avi Loeb said, it's hard for us to fathom this because you hear dimensions, you hear people zipping back and forth between 70,000 different dimensions, and the idea that we're messing around with space and time. It's like, yeah, it's a great, movie that Christopher Nolan directs. And it's like, when you think about it, who knows all the weird shit that people are doing right now that have the technology to try to do what they're doing. This is this is the type of stuff. This is the reason that I cover this stuff, because this is the stuff that fascinates me. I am too stupid to figure out any of it when it comes to quantum physics and all that. That is what I wish. I wish that my brain was able to fathom any of this. I wish that my brain was able to see it. It's that like that scene in Oppenheimer when they tell me I can't, I don't know what you're talking about with quantum physics. I'm just in awe of it. And this is the type of stuff. Do I believe in this type of stuff? I do. I absolutely believe in this stuff. Now, do I believe necessarily that things are flying in and out of portals? If it is anything, I feel so much more confident that if we're going to go to the idea of what is it? Is it something coming from light years away? Is it another government that we just can't, you know, figure out what these things are, and they're so fast and that we can't pick them up, and it's been another government for all these years? Or is it interdimensional stuff? I've always said out of the three of those, it's the interdimensional stuff for me because of the bending of time and space and the whole stuff with anti-gravity and all that. There's a lot there, and there's a lot there, and there's so much that has been, and this and the fact, the idea of the potential another type of NHI that's been developing this stuff for whatever he said, billions of years. And you think like, well, why billions of years? That doesn't make any sense. The way time and space works in general doesn't make any sense. I always think of Interstellar. I think of that movie Interstellar in the way that when Matthew McConaughey goes to that one planet and the way that time and space just works so differently than it does here. And the idea of these different theories, like I really, this stuff blows my mind. It does. I want to bring in Pavel to help talk me through this because my mind is blown through this. What's up?
What's up, man? How are you doing?
I don't know. I don't know. This is crazy. This is crazy stuff. Like as I always say, in the same way that like, you know, Chuck Schumer and Rounds, two prominent members of the government, are up there talking about NHI and nobody's covering it. You get this Harvard professor who is very adamant that there is alien life and all this stuff too. And what I say when people push back and going, well, you know, he's got an agenda, he has this, he's still working for Harvard. Why didn't they fire him? Right?
Yeah. What I like about Avi specifically is that he goes after the pure science, you know? He's not worried about the national security aspect of this. He just wants to apply the scientific method to whatever he finds. So based on that, and also obviously his credentials, he's from Harvard, I would listen to what he has to say, you know? But this CERN facility in Switzerland, first of all, rest in peace to Mr. Peter Higgs, Dr. Peter Higgs, who was responsible for the 2012 discovery of the God particle known as the Higgs boson. He died today, so may rest in peace. It's really funny, the synchronicity with this, because I saw Eric Weinstein complaining about this about the interdimensional stuff.
Oh, right. We have heard him talk about that. So Weinstein has said that he thinks it's all kind of hogwash, right?
Yeah, and most physicists and mathematicians think the same way. There's nobody really alive who can like totally explain this. There's like 5 or 6 people in the world who only begin to understand all this interdimensional stuff. So whenever you say, or anybody says interdimensional, really, we have no idea what it is. All we know is that the CERN particle accelerator is trying to find particles from 6 different dimensions. They're trying to do that, but they haven't accomplished it yet. At least that's what the mainstream media says, you know?
Right.
But watching these videos makes us think, man. It
just keeps popping up. It just keeps popping up. Like Grush has mentioned it. I still think Luna kind of slipped with it when she was talking about it. And now this and the idea of it, it just, to me, it makes more sense that this is what could happen more so than a technology of flying light years away. Now, I guess the same argument can be made for what I would say. And it's like, okay, well, if we can't fathom, as Avi Loeb says, if we can't fathom the type of technology that these things have been working on for, let's say billion years, the amount of, like, what's our technology going to be like in a billion years if the planet's, still here, if you will. But in a billion years, what would our tech be like? And so think about that, and think about the amount of, because we just see things, human beings, in black and white, and how time just works normally. So you can't even fathom it. You can't even understand that that it could potentially work in different ways, and zipping back and forth. And that thing at the end that she said about time, how changing time and manipulating time, and it's very science fictiony.
In astronomical terms, really, we're a young species, man.
Right.
Still, like, it's who knows what we're gonna be able to do 50 years from now. It's been so accelerated lately. All of technology, it's mind blowing if you think about it. Like 100 years ago, we didn't even know or had any idea of what things would be like right now. And I don't know. Whenever someone says that they're like ambivalent or they don't believe any theory that is fantastical in a sense, I think that maybe they could use a little bit more imagination and that sense of wonder that you and I clearly have, but there's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah, this is the stuff that gets me more so. Like, this is the type of stuff that when it comes to like the quantum physics of it all, because I don't know, like, even though I totally believe that they have scientists that are working on this type of stuff, and if this type of stuff ever comes out in our lifetime, that they are actually working on it, I don't know. But do I believe that this is true? Yeah, I believe that this is true. I do think that there are absolutely scientists that are working on trying bending particles. I mean, look, if you would have, let's go back to, the 40s. If you were like, well, they're working on splitting the atom, you'd be like, what does that mean? What does splitting the atom mean? They're going to split the atom, and they're going to make this, they're going to be able to make this bomb that can do these crazy things. And the way that they would explain it, you'd be like, what are you talking about? How are they going to do that through physics and creating explosion within atoms? That doesn't make any sense. You can't do that.
Yeah. Something I find fascinating, though, is that back then, when they were just theoretically talking about the atomic bomb, they had no idea what it would do, right? So
Right.
when they realized that it was new physics and the capacity it had of destruction, I think if I was the one in control, I would be hiding any other type of discovery or new physics from all of us monkeys, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, if you watch that movie watch Oppenheimer, and you watch that scene where Einstein essentially tells him there is a possibility that you could light the entire world on fire.
Yeah.
Like, that's the, you don't think about that, like, in the way, because you don't think in scientific terms. You just think, oh, they dropped the bomb, and you don't think of the science and the mechanics behind it, and the fact that if done wrong, they could have lit the world on fire. And imagine that's the science behind it. And it's the same type of science that with something that's way more intelligent could then find out, well, yeah, this isn't going to light the world on fire, but you'll be able to shift in between dimensions, and the way that dimensions work and the way the planes work, we just can't fathom it. And if the smarter people who can fathom it are working on it, I believe it can happen. Anyway,
And there are very few. So
very few. All right, Pavel, as always, man, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
My pleasure, Kristian. Thanks.
All right. So what do you guys think? Talk to me about this. Do you think that this is just science fiction-y stuff? There's no way that this is possible, if at all. Like, one, I don't know where you stand on the UAP phenomena in general. Do you think that if whatever you think that these things are going in the water, going in the sky, whatever it is, are they going through bending space time, or no? It's something completely different. This is not the case. You kind of more so on the side of Weinstein, where he's like, no, that's not what happened. I talked to Danny Sheehan. He didn't believe that it was interdimensional stuff. And not that he didn't believe, but he thought it was more likely that the other thing that I don't believe, that it's more light years away and that type of stuff. There's just a lot. This is like, as I said earlier, this is the reason that I talk about this stuff, because this is the stuff that's fascinating for me. So Thanks for joining me here today. Make sure that you comment, subscribe if you haven't done that already. We're approaching 20,000. We hope that you'll hit that button. And I'd like to thank Pavel. Appreciate you guys being here. See you tomorrow.